Hello, friends. Welcome to Communication Skills for Everyone. If you are watching this channel first time, please subscribe. In this video, let us learn the summary of the generation gap. This is the first unit lesson prescribed for BTech, JNTUH Hyderabad, and affiliated colleges. The generation gap. Author Dr. Benjamin Spock, which is first published in the late 1960s. That is exactly 1969 during the height of youth activism. So we can say this is an essay or social commentary and essay or social commentary. So let us look at about the author. Right, this in Generation Gap, Benjamin Magdalene Spock was highly influential American pediatrician and author best known for his revolutionary book Baby and Child Care, which was published in 1946. Spock's core message was that parents should trust their own instincts, famously stating, "You know more than you think you do." In addition to baby and child care, Spock wrote several other books, such as A Baby's First Year, which was published in 1954, Problems of Parents in 1962, and A Teenager's Guide to Life and Love in 1970. He died in 1998 at the age of 94. So let us come to the about the essay. Benjamin Macklin Spock explored the concept of adolescent rebellion not as a negative or insolent act, but as a necessary and constructive stage of development. The core theme is the teenagers' struggle to forge their self-identity. The generation gap, the author talks about uses his unique perspective as both as a medical professional and a social observer to explain why the young people were rejecting the values of their parents and forging a new moral, political, and social identity. The journey is marked by challenges and desire for free self, which is a personal identity, independent of parental or social expectation. Spock argues that when teenagers feel their personal goals or wishes are thwarted, they often rebel against their parents and society. This rebellion, according to Spock, is fundamentally positive. It serves as a vital tool for self exploration, enabling teenagers to discover who they are and why they believe in. The process of forming an identity is multifaceted, involving several key phases such as identification. Children identify with their parents or other authority figures, maybe popular figures like actors or any other popular figures. Rejection or disowning. As they enter adolescence, teenagers begin to challenge these established role models. They critically evaluate the beliefs and norms they have been taught, often rejecting those they find inauthentic or restrictive. So, third one, making a new identity. So, this leads to the creation of a new, unique identity by questioning and disowning older models. They are free to construct a self that is true to their own experiences, desires, and values. The author suggests it can be a force for good if handled correctly. So, the thing is, as a parents, everyone has to handle it carefully. When this rebellious energy is properly guided and supported, it can help teenagers develop into responsible and independent adults. The essay emphasizes that this period of conflict and identity building is a natural and essential part of growing up, leading to a stronger and more self aware individual. The generation gap. Benjamin Macklin Spock explores the common phenomena of young people rebelling against their elders. He challenges the traditional negative view of this behavior, arguing that it is merely a sign of insolence, but a natural and crucial stage of development. The summary highlights this rebelliousness is a positive sign of maturity, indicating that a young person is ready to forge their own path and become an independent individual. Understanding the generation gap and adolescent rebellion. The difference is deficiency is a necessary step for adolescents to move behind the comfort and safety of their homes. Instead of seeking the constant patronage of their parents, they begin to question established norms and decisions made by older generations. Like we can see, older generations respect it blindly, whereas younger generation question and challenge it. Older generation support it as a duty, whereas young generation oppose it as an unjust. So race, when I talk about race and equality, older generation often complicit in segregation, whereas younger generation active in civil rights. So when we talk about values, older generation material success, conformity, whereas in younger generation peace, love, authenticity. So when it comes to sexual norms, older generation were very conservative in nature, whereas younger generation they are open and experimental. So the process is essential for their growth, as it completes them to develop self-reliance and the ability to navigate the world on their own terms. The summary emphasizes that this is a direct path toward progress and becoming an independent being. The search for self-identity. The search for self-identity, where a core theme of this says the adolescent search for self-identity. The text explicitly defines identity as a comprehensive term that is shaped by a person's entire life experience, beginning with childhood. The summary outlines the three key elements that help create an individual's identity. One, character. So it talks about character, foundation of a person's identity developed through early life experiences. Two, so these formative years, as the summary points out, are crucial in shaping an individual's character, which they will later build upon or even rebel against. Second, the rejection of the past. Spoken notes that part of forming an identity involves an individual impatience with the ideas and solutions of the past. The summary adds that adolescents find their own ways of problem solving to be the best, and this self confidence drives them to disown earlier role models and create new sense of self. This phase involves a conscious choice to move away from what they have been taught and what has been done before. The third one, adoption to the times. The final element is the ability to keep pace with modern times and work for different reforms. The essay highlights the importance of young persons' vision for a better future, which stems from their dissatisfaction with the achievements of the past. This forward looking perspective is presented as the engine of progress, suggesting that significant social changes and innovations are often the results of this youthful rebellion and vision. The productive nature of rebellion. The text stress that this rebellious attitude, only viewed as disrespectful by parents, can have a fruitful effect if properly channelized. If properly channelized. The added detail is that this process helps teenagers explore their identity and develop into responsible adults. The essay also suggests that this seemingly negative behavior is, in fact, a productive force. It's the mechanism through which young people develop their own ideas, resolve their own problems, and become acutely aware of the needs of their time. Stroke's central argument is that the generation gap was a natural and necessary part of social progress. He argued that the older generation had, in a sense, succeeded in raising their children to be independent thinkers. However, they were not feeling betrayed when those same lessons lead their children to reject their traditional values. Spock's essay encourages a move away from judgment and toward genuine understanding, urging both generations to engage in honest dialogue. He positioned the youth's rebellion not as a flaw in their character, but as a justified response to societal progressy and moral contradictions. The essay remains relevant today as similar generational conflicts emerge around issues like climate change, social justice, and political polarization, reflecting a continuous cycle of change and adoption in society. So they say therefore positions the generation gap not as a distracting force but as an essential and positive driver of human progress. Thank you for watching. Subscribe Communication Skills for Everyone for more academic and educational videos.